Hello, this is an assessment of a Steinway old model A grand piano made in 1898 and has just come into stock. Now the casework's all original, and the original logo there for that age of Steinway, and very tasteful veneer, rosewood veneer that the Steinways had. Here's the top of the fall, very slightly darker, so the piano's been held open. If you have a rosewood piano and want to keep it, or a wooden piano to keep it exactly the same colour, then have it open and closed at times. You see the very slight difference, but nothing to worry about at the moment. Now the music stand's been changed. This would have been fretted music stand, and we can change that if necessary, if you'd like, if you're interested in the piano and would like the original put on. Now these are the original style Steinway legs and lyre, exactly as they would have been. Interesting to see the chrome metalwork on the piano, not just the pedals, but also you notice that the restorer here has put chrome book holders on, so they match in beautifully, and there's a chrome lock there as well. At the top of the piano you see this rosewood veneer. We French polished many of these, and you can see how tasteful it is. Now this has been kind of given a matte finish, very tasteful matte finish. You can see the slight fade line there that's developed from having the lid back. We've looked at this from many other videos, but the lid's back all the time. Then as you push it back that way, you can see a slight fade. But if you keep the piano open like this, exposed to not sunlight, obviously that's going to damage the piano, but just light in a room, that'll gradually fade in, and obviously that's going to make the wood colour even throughout. Key tops are original ivy in pretty near perfect condition. You do get slight cracking on the ivories sometimes like this. We can change all the ivories, but I'd recommend keeping them. They just feel so good, and that's not much to do about that. We could replace the front obviously, but it wouldn't match the grain so well. This is beautiful grain. By the way, it's 85 notes. Steinways of this age are 85 note. Model A, big old Model A's of this are 85 notes. That's a 88 note Model O, slightly shorter, 5'10", and Model A is 6'3". And this is one that we also have in stock that's been fully restored, and that's had the new logo replaced here. So this has been restored. It's not would have had. Actually, no, this is 1922, but it wouldn't have had that logo exactly. That's the modern. Well, the inside of the piano has been beautifully restored as well. They haven't recapped the bridge, but the down bearing has been increased, as we'll see later on how we can tell that. Recapping the bridge is one way of doing that, where you can bring the down bearing a little bit more down bearing, which tends to get lost over the years. And by the way, the original dates at the back of the piano here, if you want to have a look, these older ones have the date, and there it is, stamped onto the frame. That's the frame casting date. It's the same age as the piano as well. That's 3/10/1898. Now the rest plank hasn't been replaced on this piano, but the tuning pins are absolutely tight. So this on Steinway rest planks are so well made that if you replace them, you won't necessarily improve anything. So this is good for another 30 years at least. Now what all tuners and technicians will tell you is that the bottom bass on these older Steinway Model A's there's nothing to beat it. It's just superbly rich, really, and warm sounds. We'll compare it with the 1922 one. So that's bottom C. There's bottom C on the 1922 one. A, B, C. And on the older one, so rich and warm. And as we go up the scale, let's play the chromatics and listen to the break point. Look at the number of triple copper wound strings there, and going up. It's just such a very well restored piano, this one, extremely well restored mechanically and acoustically. The down bearing's definitely been improved. It will be slightly weak round here normally on this age of piano. There's a very slight difference, but not that noticeable as we play right the way up. Hammers are toned beautifully right up to the top. What's also been very finely done is the key weighting. This is just over 50 grams and goes down beautifully, the middle C, and all the notes are the same throughout the keyboard. And the other, which makes the action feel so good, is the low up weight. If we watch that, that's 20 grams, In fact, it's just under 30 grams on the whole, so that goes up slightly faster. The up weight's dependent on how well you've chosen hammers, levers, all the work really, the friction points contribute to the up weight, and this is the sign of a very, very good piano restorer. Now this piano was restored in 2002 by one of the UK's leading piano restorers, very, very experienced piano restorer, and if we look at the action, you can see it's been replaced top and bottom with genuine Steinway parts. That means they've been made by Renner, but to Steinway pattern, and because Renner make all Steinway parts in the UK, in Europe. Just looking at the action generally, all the hammers, they haven't absorbed any moisture since then. You can sometimes find hammers seize up a bit, but if we drop them we can see they all drop together, and that's the same right throughout. Not much wear if you look at the back check here, but there's enough wear to have played it in beautifully. I would say between half an hour and an hour a day since 2002. That's just enough to get these indentations marked, get a better contrast with the unicorda pedal, and really play the piano in. So I'm extremely encouraged and grateful to get this piano really into stock, because it's one of the very best. The age of the piano is one of the best. We've had one in our house for some time. It was a client's piano we restored, and it really is as good as you get any piano. The only competitor to this really in terms of tone would be the Blüthner of the same age, but this is just, obviously this is a normal Steinway action like a modern piano, whereas the Blüthner has a patent action. Both are extremely good pianos. But looking in here, I'm just taking this in really because it's a wonderful action. The Steinway Renner action, there's nothing better in the world than that. So that's an assessment of a Steinway old model A 6'3" grand piano made in 1898, just come into stock, and the piano has been fully restored in 2002 to very high standard by one of the top British piano restorers. We have the original paperwork to show that as well if you're interested in buying the piano. What impresses me most about this is just the very, very accurate restoration that's been done. Both the touch of the piano, and by the way, if you're buying an older piano like this, don't think you're not getting as good a touch as a new piano. In some ways, the touch is better. It's different, obviously. You need to try it out, see if you like it. But perfectly suitable for study. This is an 85 note piano though, so yeah, you may want 88 notes. You can certainly take all exams on a piano that has 85 keys. But the tone of this piano as well is the other thing. As with all Model A's, they restore extremely well. The down bearing can go round here, but this restorer has known how to cure that. And there probably isn't a better piano in terms of tone and touch at the moment on the market. That's a big statement to make, isn't it? But they might be as good as, obviously, but you can't get better than this. It's been beautifully played in too, so that there's a contrast between ordinary playing and una corda. Of course, you can do that when you restore the piano as well, but it's better when it's played in. It's very, very evident, a very clear contrast. Touch, as I say, the up weight, which is a key factor to having a good touch, is just as low as you can get it, or as low as it should be rather, because you do need some up weight to bring the hammers down, otherwise you can get sticky notes. By the way, we haven't tuned the piano since it's come in. Very, very stable. So don't worry about the age of the piano. I know that's a concern for many people, but from my experience, if it's well restored as this one is, it'll get longer life than a new piano, especially a cheaply made one. Thank you very much for listening.